believe it, you guys, I bought this truck back, sold it, and bought it back. This is a bed swap, so I'm going to take the bed off the one I just bought back. I'm going to put it in the one I'm currently driving that I've been fixing up on YouTube. You've seen it. But I want that bed. I've always wanted that bed. I was sad when I sold the truck and that bed went with it. And then Dave will be the proud new owner of Frankenstein, the original.
No one call those.
Oh, both up. Hold the boat.
You like that?
Yeah.
Take a look underneath. Check for ground straps and cables.
Yeah.
And go to the back of the bumper and feed those wires up there so you don't pull any of them.
It's off. Bonk. Hanging up. So now we're going to just put this on something, roll it away, and get going on getting this one off, which is going to be tougher, I think. Yeah, we've had to resort to drastic measures. Don't forget, you're right above the fuel tank.
Cut off here instead. Let's try and cut off here.
Hey, look, bedless twins. All right, now we're gonna line it up, swap them. Do it.
Watch your fingers.
All right. Here we go. Get it nice and high. Whoa, whoa, you're all the way. There it is, back in the yard with the bed on it from Frankenstein. Body snatched. All right, so we put the bed on with only 5 bolts. Reason being, I'm going to pop it back off, obviously, and I'm going to go ahead and address the frame while I still have some black paint on it before it starts to get too nasty under there. Right now it's just rusty. I don't want to get to the point of flaky. So you can see invasion of the body snatches happened on the inside too. And I snagged Frankenstein's interior. And the only reason I did that, the actual interior that I swapped into Frankenstein was in better shape. So it didn't have any rips in the pads like this does. But the only reason I did that is because the truck I sold to Dave, Frankenstein, had the original bronze-colored Marine Corps style seat in there that kind of matched all this. Mine didn't. The guy that owned it before me put in a blue seat. So I was like, you know what the heck, why don't I match him up and give him those panels, and I'll take these panels. And the benefit of me doing that was I got a nicer looking dash. I also purchased brand spanking new inner fenders, because look at this. No thank you. Let's go to the other side real quick. On the inner fender again, passenger side, you can see that's pretty ate up. All right, now the thing about this side is, this is your battery box side in one of these. All right, so you're gonna have these brackets under here that holds your battery box in, and you gotta save those. They don't come with your new fenders. Now these do not look horrible, but that one, that's pretty done. Luckily, that's the straight one, so that's just a straight bar that is going to be an easy to fabricate piece. That fender obviously needs to be done. You see that fuel pump down in there? There is no fun way to get at one of those right there. They're known to be a pain in the butt. Since that housing on that thing is starting to seep a little, and it's giving me the warning sign that it's going to go on me, now's the time to go ahead and do that. All right, it's going to be much easier for me to get at with all of this just out of the way. I could just sit right there on a lawn chair and crank away and get that done. So let's get going on this. First thing you got to do is pop that hood off. All right, it's very simple. 1, 2, 3, 4 on both sides. It's better with 2 people, honestly. And if one of my buddies comes around, that'd be great. If not, I'll do it myself. Hey, luckily, his friend showed up. You ready? Off we go. Thank you. All right, sweet, good timing. So, pop your battery cables off, starting with your negative cable. All right, take them all off, and then we're gonna have to get these battery hold downs out, and then we're gonna have to get the batteries out next. Pretty self-explanatory how to get these off. Come on, give me it. Pop this guy right out of here. Let go. Herculean strength. All right, batteries out, and this is what we're left with. We have the bottom trays, and we got some rusty crap, as you know. Down here, we're just gonna go ahead and throw the deep creep on there. Yeah. Lube everything up real nice like. And just get it in there, soak it down. All right, this one here, I don't know why I'm bothering, but whatever. While you're down here, hit everything that's visible, be all around the edges here. Try not to spray yourself in the eyeball. This little huckleberry back there. All right, back up top, right after I spray that. Notice the shim. You're gonna wanna hang on to those, and then come over here to the front and look down in here. Just start hitting those. All right, they go all the way down. Oh, they go all the way down there. You get the idea. Might as well hit this guy inside the door. I'm just gonna loosen this one. Okay, now come down to the bottom of the fender. All right, and we're gonna climb up underneath here. And you can see right there, there's another one. You're gonna wanna spray that up and get that out of there. Get this all looped up over here. I'm just gonna start with the battery tray that's attached to the actual fender. All right, now in here, when it comes time to get these guys, they're in here. See that? Obviously this is in the way, so now you see why I like to get this out of the way, which means going underneath and getting rid of the rotten guy right there. Shouldn't be too tough. Not bad. It's nice when even rusty stuff comes apart, because I'll tell you, the bed was not fun to get off of this thing. Big old carriage bolt. But it came off. Surprise, surprise. Put that right there so I can burn my arm on it. Oh, see, I knew I'd do it. Youch. Yeah, look at this. And just twist and seal. Like that nut's coming undone, I believe. And got it. And with that, should be able to just grab that whole thing and get out of there. There you go. I'll give that some attention. And now we have much easier access to those. Pop off your front headlight bezel. Okay, look down there. You can see 1, 2 bolts right there, already nice and lubed up. And then look up here. Am I gonna be able to see it? Yes. Gotta get those out. All right, look here at this trim. And this trim is attached from here over. It's attached here and here to this fender. All right, so what we're gonna do is just slide this off of that little retaining piece. We're gonna go ahead and take that bumper off. Boom. Outer fender is off. So now we're gonna get that inner fender off. That's another one that's pretty easy. All right, you can see them. Boink. 1, 2, 3. You'll get from underneath. Okay, look under here. That one's already rotted through, so that ain't gonna be no thing but a chicken wing. And then we got this one back here. Go ahead and start cranking on. All right, you can see I have my back battery tray out. I've opened up the clip that formerly held both of these water lines here, and just simply disconnected 2 little nuts and bolts that were clamping these down. Get up there, and we should be able to just pop that bad boy out of. Oh, yeah, there we go. Come out, come out. All right. Don't chuck these right away, especially this. Don't chuck that. You might want to use it as a template to the new one to figure out where to drill your holes. Yeah, frames in really nice shape under here. All the little tabs where things were screwed in, where it was all rusted out on the inner fender, for example, the tabs themselves are all good. Nothing rotted out there. This is just going to be a simple job of cleanup and then put back together with nice new parts and new bolts. Should actually go a lot easier than taking it apart. How easy is that fuel pump now? Right there where I can see it. I can just sit right here, nothing in the way for fenders. Moving over to the other side, it's exactly the same thing, only easier. There are no battery trays, there's not a bunch of stuff attached. The same bolts. Lube them up, crank them off. The other fender's off. So I took my grill off, and I took out these marker lights here, and I took out the headlights. Alright, so, and then the last piece to get this off, since I've already taken the fenders off both sides, it's just one little bolt right here, a little 1/2 inch. I've already loosened it up, so I'll pop that off in a minute. What we have here is the inner fenders. I also picked up a nice set of Monroe gas magnums. These are those nice nitrogen charged. They put these things on RVs, so that should do it. Alright, and then of course I got the fuel pump. This is a Carter. There's your Carter fuel pump part number. So I'm going to go ahead and pop these shocks off of here. Shouldn't be too tough. And I'm going to leave them off until I'm done painting the frame, so I can paint the shock mounts and get behind it and everything real nice and pretty. Got the entire engine sprayed down with some degreaser. This is that 50 state formula, so I don't want to hear anything. Shh. But I'll let that chew away at some of all the oils in there for a minute, or 10, or 15 actually, and I'll be back. Alright, there it is, nice and clean and pretty much dry at this point. The frame itself is really good. I don't need to scrape, but I will sand. So I'm going to go ahead and just sand it down by hand. I'll pop a few things off just so I can make sure I get it all nice. Now you can see the frame on this side. This is above your brakes. Alright, and all the brake fluid and stuff, you can see what it did to the paint over here. I mean, I blew the paint right off it. And before that dried, it actually wasn't rusty looking like that. It was actually just metal. This is why I need to sand and POR 15 quick. Alright, no better time than the present to go ahead and rip this out. Now, I mean, you can't get much easier than this, right? I mean, I'm sitting right here. Hello. Piece of cake. Have you ever witnessed anything so simple in all of your life? And there it is. Just gonna clean that hole up real quick and reinstall. Ultra slick for new engine parts. It's like rebuild lube. And just like that, it's in. And we are all set. Everything went swimmingly. If your little push rod falls through, this is what I do. I grab a little coat hanger and I bend it just like this, just like the diameter of the push rod. All right, and I put it in, hooked down. All right, I get my pump all lined up and I put that in hooked down and just kind of scoop around that post, right? Then I pull back toward the plate like so, give it a little lift up and push back, and that rod just goes right up. And you can stick your finger in there, poke it up, push it real hard, and it'll stay up at least for a second or two while you drop the lever in. If you can't get it to stay up there, you might have to take the plate off and just throw a big glob of grease right on the end of that rod and then poke it back in there. It'll stay back. So, but that job is done. Moving on. Here is the new fender and the old fender together. What you're going to notice is that you're going to need to strip this one of a few things. Again, you're going to want to save the skirt if yours is any good. There's a little clip here for your water lines. You want to get these little guys out, etc. All right. Also, we're going to need to drill a few holes. Not many. All right, here is the old passenger side fender, the one that held the battery trays. As you can see, I have removed what I could of the pieces that were in it. All right, so you can see this bracket here. If I flip it over, would have fit right up in there like so. Okay, and we got this one here that used to sit like so. And then of course we know about this one. We don't need the sound effect. All right, so I'm gonna need to fabricate that. That shouldn't be too tough. These ones are actually not bad. I drilled out the welds. I was very careful not to drill too deep into this. Let me show you. These are the holes I drilled. And I try not to go too deep. You can actually see the metal still there where I was very careful. All right, so, because I wanted to save those. So you're gonna have to drill them out. There's 9 in each, and as you can see very carefully. And I did the other side even more carefully. See? Look. It made me mad. You don't want to see me when I'm mad. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and tape off all the holes I don't need, which is all of them except the ones for the battery box. That's all we got to worry about. I have it lined up pretty good. I got the old one on top of the new one, as you can see, and everything's taped off beautifully. I mean, so beautiful you could just spray paint the old one, put it back in, if you ask me. But no, we're going to just take a little bit of white. I'm going to just try to go straight up and down so I don't get an angle. That's it. Wind took it. And the last one, there really is 2, but since mine is gone, I got 1 left. That was simple. Now I'm just going to carefully pull the old one back off of that new one. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are going to be pretty much perfectly aligned, right? There's this one. This is how I like to do it. All right, you can see now these are pressed in, so you just leave those in there, all right? And we'll stand it up right here, right in the middle, you know, lined up on both of them, like so. All right, I got a little bit of different color paint, and I'm just gonna, from up here. That's it. Now, I can see exactly where I'm gonna drill for those 2 holes, and I'm going to go ahead and drill them now because that's going to help me line up the next 2 holes. I'm using a stepped drill bit, so let you start out really small and build up to whatever size you need, up to 1/2 inch on this one. You can get different sizes. So this is all I should need. So I'm going for 3/8. All right, both holes drilled, no problems. It fits right in there beautifully because I took my time. Now I can set that right in there. And you'll notice this one is perfect. But again, I'm going to go ahead and hit that and get an exact. That's it. And the other one. Then I'll know exactly where that hole goes. Let's see. Good enough. Drill, baby, drill. That should sit right up there nicely. That should sit there. I see a beautiful hole lined up there. Yeah, that's lined up. That all looks good. Okay, now this one's not as easy as the other one. The other one, all 4 pegs are on the fender itself, the inner fender. This one, 2 of them go on your actual outer fender. So it's important that, yeah, I got that mark, but see this bottom peg, I need to know exactly where it's going to go, because if that's cockeyed, it's not going to line up with my fender, my outer fender. All right, so that needs to be on there and it needs to be straight. I'm going to go ahead and hit this with a little bit of various grits down to a fine grit and just take out some of the deeper scratches that are in it. That's all. Just hit those areas real quick. And then what I'm going to do is Scotch-Brite the entire thing. I don't want to take that surface all the way off. That's actually a good surface, good rust preventative surface on there. You don't want, just scuff it up, all right, because we're going to paint it. So I'm going to do that to the outside and the inside. Just scuff the whole surface up a little. There we go, all nice and scuffed up. You can see I took the finish off. It's all very dull. All right, inside and out. All right, we're gonna prep the metal. And what this is going to do is basically encapsulate the rust. All right, it's going to convert that rust over and stop it in its tracks. All right, and then it's going to leave a nice, basically a coating on there for the paint to grab to. So now the thing about using this stuff is, and just so you know, POR 15 makes their own brand. I'm just using Clean Strip, concrete and metal prep. I'll put a link for you. All right, but the thing is, for the next 15 minutes, once you start this, you got to keep whatever surface you're doing wet. Don't let it dry. So don't try to do the whole truck all at once. Pick a spot, keep it wet for 15 minutes. Now you'll notice I lifted all my fuel lines. I unbolted and lifted my fuel lines here. I have a bungee pulling it out, so nothing's touching my frame. That if I can get it off, I took it off. All right, that is done. We're gonna let this thoroughly dry before I put on that first coat of POR 15. All right, while we wait for that to dry, let's go ahead and metal prep this inner fender. Again, just gonna soak it. You're gonna want a mask probably, or stay downwind. The stuff is, it's bad. If it goes up your nose, it's horrible. It's like ammonia. Now I know that this has got a painted surface on it, but it's also got scuffed surface on it. So anytime there's bare metal showing, metal prep. You want your stuff to last forever, this is what you're gonna do. I'm just gonna keep that wet for the next 15 minutes. Take a peek at some of these metal spots and how they look. Before I rinse it, you can see the reaction. All right, so like I said, any exposed metal, go ahead. It's good for you. Time to rinse. The frame is now dry. Check out the color of that metal so you can see what it did. Look at that. It is sanded. It has been metal prepped, and it is good to go. So I am going to apply this. All right, POR 15 rust preventative permanent coating. Now this is a base coat, so to speak. All right, this is going to grab on. It's going to grab that rust. It's going to turn it into something else, basically like a primer. All right. But this is not like UV protected, so you need to top coat this after. We'll talk about that after. Right now, by Jove, it's time to paint. This stuff smells Rambo. First stroke. You want to put it on real thin. We're going to do 2 coats, but just spread it as far as you can get it. Oh, pretty. It's self-leveling stuff. It's nice. It lays down pretty nice. Now this is a gloss black. Not that it matters, because I'm going to top coat it. All right, you basically just clean your brush off on the thing and then spread it nice. Now you'll notice I'm using these little tiny cans, and that is because this stuff kind of sucks when you go to close it up and you open a big old gallon of this stuff. It kind of sucks. But if you do that and you're going to close it back up, what you want to do is get a piece of like a plastic bag or something and put it over the top first, then put the lid on, because you will not get that lid off of this thing. I'm telling you. All right, you get the idea. I am going to continue on, and I'll show you how that looks when it's all done. And there you go. Lovely. It's beautiful. And you'll notice I got right up to the washers, but I didn't POR 15 all the nuts on, and I just don't want everything to be seized up, so I just right up to the washers, that's it. Let's hit it with some self-etching primer real quick. Real light coats to start. You don't want sags and runs in any of this, so you just take it easy. Give it a nice little dusting first. There's one light coat done. Let's let it dry for 10 minutes. All right, there we go. That's 2 coats. The second one was a little heavier than the first one, but still, this is an etching primer. It's not a sandable type of primer. So you don't need to go crazy with it. All right, so there it is. I did both sides, so that's good to go. And now on the inside of the wheel well, I'm going to go ahead and throw some Raptor spray. And this is, as you can tell from the top, that is some olive drab Raptor. That did it. You can feel it. Spring load. And now we're going to shake it for 2 more minutes. All right, this stuff's going to come out fast and furious. Make sure you know what's beyond your target. I'm going to start at the top, try to overlap, light coating from about 2 to 3 feet away. Oh, that's it. That's good. I'm going to let that set for 20 minutes with 1 light coat on it and come back and hit it again just the same. So for this side, I'm going to use Rapco 383 green. That's the Carc substitute green. I buy this stuff by the case, as you can see. And I use this for all the small stuff, like the fenders and stuff like that. But you can also buy that in the gallon size or quart size or whatever for use with your HVLP sprayer or whatnot, which is what I'm going to use to do the entire outside of the truck once it's ready to go. Again, just a light first coat, just a dusting, little coat to grab the next one. I like to cross my fan halfway over the previous one, halfway, so I'll do halfway over that and back and try to keep the same distance all the way around. Move with the body. All right, let that sit for a couple minutes. So there you go with your 383 green Carc substitute. It's pretty nice. All right, let me come around the other side. Look at this. Look at it. It's nice. All right, and all we gotta do is the same stuff to the other fender minus all that battery tray stuff. So easy. Let's do it. So I figure while I wait for this to cure up properly before I top coat the frame, I'll go ahead and fix up all this. You know, I did a lot of temporary wiring when I was putting this thing together when it was just a burnt up piece of junk. Like this blue tape here, that was just so I knew that was a blue wire, not a yellow one like what's showing. You know, so that's all junky. So I'm figuring I gotta wait anyway. I might as well clean some of this up. So I'll show you what I got. Nice little solder connectors. And you can see right here how much nicer they are. So those are nice, so I'm doing that. And of course I am shrink wrapping the ends of my glow plug wires because, again, temporarily, just to get this thing running, I had thrown some tape on there, which worked fine, but you can see the little end peeling up there. So let's do it right while we got it open. If you haven't seen these yet, they're in my other video where I first wired this thing back together and got it running. This is just a nice little adapter for your glow plug wires, so you don't have to cut the tips off, you don't have to file down your glow plugs, you don't have to try to find the originals, and you can use the Delco 60Gs. So this is how it works. All you got to do is go ahead and, hope you can see that, just poke your little adapter in to your original plug tip. All right, take your little piece of shrink wrap and throw it on there. Once you see that little metal tip lined up flush, you're good to go. Hit that with the heat gun. Just takes a couple seconds. It's beautiful. And you just pop it right back on there. Pretty. When I think to myself of what I want to see when I open the hood of my truck, that ain't it. All right, that's the way the factory does them. They throw that sealant all the way around like that. It's just spread everywhere. Yeah, so I might as well pop that out of there and clean that up so it looks real nice and pretty when I open up the hood. Get my wiring looking good. I got lots of little things I can do between now and when the rest of my stuff shows up. Speak of the devil. Thank you, sir. You too. Yeah, geez, they're all coming at once.